Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Techgig webinar series. Our topic for today's session is practical usability testing, and we have with us today Mr. Ravindran Antonisamy. He is the QA head of Nimbuzz. A master's in computer science, Ravindran is currently located in Gurgaon. He has got great experience in the mobile technology ECO system, which includes apps, cloud, app markets, ad networks, in-app payments, automated functional tests, Calibase iOS, Calabash Android, specialized in QA function. Currently, Ravindran manages the product QA activities in Nimbuzz mobile chat messenger. Ravindran is a strong supporter for automation performance testing and generating innovation within the organization. His leadership qualities helped organizations to set up teams to deliver greater amount of productivity. His abilities with respect to team play, people management, new ways of working, mentoring young talents had helped organizations to keep the people highly motivated all time. Ravindran have special interest in mobile applications, automation, semiconductors, 2D, 3D graphics, Windows, phone, Android, iPhone, Symbian, J2ME, BlackBerry application testing, artificial intelligence, robotics, renewable energy, and mobile GPUs. So before I hand over the session to Ravi, this is for all the attendees. Ravindran will be taking us through the presentation for the first 40 minutes, and then we'll open up the session for a quick round of Q&A. I request all the attendees to start sending questions to me from 3:30 p.m. onwards, and I will be assigning the relevant questions over to Ravi. In case if there is any lag during the presentation, please feel free to send a message over the chat window on your control panel. So without any further delay, I now hand over the presentation to Ravi. Over to you, Ravi.
Okay, so let me just show my screen. Is it visible to you?
Yes, Ravi.
Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. So welcome to Techgig session on usability testing. So I hope I am audible enough for you. This session is like we are going to focus on how practically we do usability testing within small and big scale organizations, because usability testing is a costly affair if you go for external parties. But it's a technique that we can quickly learn and practice and evolve within the organization. So I came up with the idea of the practical usability testing session, and Techgig gracefully approved that. I thank them for this opportunity. So I have a small index here, but I can keep moving. So in the first phase, I wanted to say that usability testing is not UAT or user acceptance testing, which you may be aware of, and you may be already doing it as well. So people largely misunderstand these two terminologies. And user acceptance testing, which you do, is you'll do with customers, and usability testing you do it with users. So the objective of both the things are different. So now let's move on. So I wanted to cover in this webinar that what are all the different ways you can conduct usability testing within your organization, and how you will present that data to your product management or your management, and how you will recruit users for this initiative, and who you have to recruit and who you have to call for this. This is how we will proceed. So I'll just move on. Types of usability testing. So there are various types of usability testing. One is hallway testing. So we'll move on to the next slide so that I'll be able to show you the types. So hallway of testing. So it's you are sitting in a conference room or something, then you have a product or a project with you, and you want people to take a quick look and do some testing. So you call those people inside your conference room or where you sit. So that is called hallway of testing. Okay. So it will be done by your peers, whoever works in your office. You can call them and then perform this. Remote usability testing. Remote usability testing is you perform this. For example, you have a website or you have a mobile app which you wanted to do that do usability testing in different networks, or how different geographical location people will respond to your product. So that is the remote usability testing. We have tools for that. I can come back to that later. So there is another thing is like expert review. So it's normally your company outsource your usability testing to any third party who perform this usability testing, who has usability experts. For example, people who are HFI certified usability testers, or people who traditionally doing usability testing, such as Intuit, or Xerox. So you'll do that. So it's also called heuristic evaluation, and or usability audit. You audit your product with human factors experts. Another thing is like automated expert review, which you will use certain tools to get the expert review or your reviews of your design. There is another and final method, testing type, is A/B testing. So you have two products, like you have to compare each other, and then you change certain elements into the other product, and you will find out which one more usable. So that is how you will test. So let me go back and check on the key discussion points. So I given an overview about types of usability testing. So now let's move on and let's see what are all the methods, how you will perform each type, etc. So I also displayed in this slide that who should attend this. Like normally it's not really a mobile focused usability testing, because mobile is nowadays like now people have the power of deleting an app is more, because like you delete an app in 3 seconds in any mobile phone. So usability testing gains more momentum in the mobile world, but also in the web world. Like so the e-commerce, the way e-commerce marching forward. So web is really need a lot of usability. You maybe like take a note about $1 million button, or you can check that in Google, $1 million button of usability. So there is a history that some website, e-com website, they moved a button to a visible position, or they just increase the usability of that single button, and they end up in $1 million sales. So you should take a look at that. why usability testing? What usability testing is to find out your product is usable. You may have a useful product, but if your product is not usable, it's not going to be used by people, and they don't really like a product which is not very user friendly. So you should really need to take care of that. So, and then I will cover up how you will present your data to the product management, or people who is going to take a call on your usability suggestions or usability improvements. And then you will see that positive change into the product, and it will result into sales, etc. So you cannot present raw data, videos, or subjective or non-quantifiable data to the management. They cannot take a call on that. It will not create a huge impact on their minds, and if I change this, will that really work? It will not. So you have to present your data such a way that management will take a call on that very quickly, and they will find out the importance of that particular suggestion or improvement you are saying, the outcome of your usability testing, they will take up. Okay, so let me just move on, because like I had put a photo on that of myself, and like it's been carried away. So I'll quickly move on to best testing types. So as I told you before, that hallway of testing is one of the famous methodology, and the other one is moderated usability testing. That is what these two things we will focus on today. So hallway of testing doesn't really involve any cost. So you have people in your organization, you can call them up, and then you can give them the design you have, or you give them the product you have, and then ask them to use it in front of you, and ask questions, so that they will provide you feedback. And another thing is like, so if you are going to be conducting if you are going to conduct an usability testing as a moderator, for example, so you have to be really cautious about how what are the words, the choice of words you are using to an usability tester, or a person you are actually giving the product. So if you call a person from your organization, for example, in the case of hallway of testing, you are sitting in a room, and you have a product or a prototype with you, and you call this person, and then you ask them to take a look at the product. They will end up in giving you suggestions of the product rather than actual usability testing. They will say this looks good, that doesn't look good, and they will keep on giving you, because this will become that evaluation of that person itself. They feel that are you evaluating me, my technical abilities? So that comes into picture. So so you have to be really careful and cautious about how you will set the stage for usability testing. You call a person, ask them to have a seat with you, and make them comfortable by giving a coffee or something, and then clearly explain them that this is not feedback session on that design. It's not feedback on their technical abilities. They don't really need to show any technical abilities when testing the product. They are not testing. They are actually going to use your product, and then they will tell you what they feel. That is how it has to be. And here I wanted to engage certain things, that the goal of usability testing, this is really important, that you have to be really keeping this in your mind. You are going to find out the efficiency of the product, and the accuracy of the product, and how the user recalls or recognizes different things when they don't really use certain feature, and then they come back there, and what they really remember. Remember, that is how it goes. And what is their emotional response when they see a particular element or particular button or the actual product? Is it awful or it is really exciting? So there are different emotions involved in human beings, right? So you have to monitor that. You have to take an account of that. So these 4 elements. So I'll repeat that: efficiency of the product, accuracy, recall, and emotional response. This is your goal. This is the goal of your usability testing. And the product which is designed has to be really taking care of the persuasion of the user, emotion of the user, how they build the trust on an user when they present the product to them. So it's called PET architecture. There is a good presentation in slideshare.net of Barry Briggs. So you can just check Barry's PET presentation, and then you can access that in the SlideShare website. And so you should really take a look at PET architecture, how a user-controlled design, the UCD, is being developed or has to be developed. If you are a developer, you should really focus on this Barry Briggs PET architecture, how you will create usable product. So your product has to be engaging, your product has to be compelling, and your product has to be effective. If you're an if you're a developer, you should really take care of these 3 things: engaging product, compelling product, and an effective product. So now let's go back to how you test it. Because the first nutshell of it is like Steve Krug, that is one of the forefather of this usability initiatives. So like he said that you test early and you test often. So you have to test your product early because like it's really applies to functional testing as well. You're supposed to test early, so the cost of your defects that will take for fixing that defect will go down. The same thing applies here as well. You have to test early, even before the product actually developed. The product is just in wireframe stage, and people just draw some screens in the board. This is what the product will look like. You should start planning your usability testing even just there. You can plan there. So let's go back to the goals of usability testing. So as I told earlier, efficiency, accuracy, and how the user recalls the product and their emotional response. This is what your goal. And in hallway of testing, you should really take care of how you deal with them. So like so you are not really paying anything to them. You just call them, and they have to spend their time with you, and they have to give feedback, and they'll also really very afraid that you are really test, because normally senior people does that in an organization. They will really feel that you are actually testing their technical abilities. So that is how it goes. Like so, let's talk about moderated usability testing a little bit later. So let's talk about the sample size. How many people you really need to call for this, and how many people you really need to invite if you are really doing usability testing, moderated usability testing in an organization. Okay, so for example, the feedbacks that you get, the more people you use, it's quite normal that you will get similar kind of feedback. For example, you test with 10 people, they will be giving, for example, 15 different feedbacks and 15 different points that you will feel that you will be fixing it. But if you use 100 people also, they most likely they'll come up with a similar kind of scenarios. This is so the users, for example, about 8 to 10 people in the moderated usability testing scenario is adequate. So what you should do is like perform the usability test with 5 people in the beginning, and then after that feedbacks and all being incorporated, then call 5 more and then make sure that they are actually really able to use the product seamlessly. Okay, so let's I'll describe moderated usability testing a little bit before we go further slides. Moderated usability testing is one of the best usability testing methods. You recruit or call people, your friends, family, or calling people for using some consultancy. Because different set of products need different set of people. For example, if you are making a software for an ATM, you cannot just call only engineers and doctors, because even layman is using that. Uneducated people will be using the product. So you have to make sure that you are the people who comes to you and performing the usability testing, they have to be a different variety of people. Like that, you have to create the personas. So and then create the personas or screeners. Call these people, perform the usability testing, and record them. Because before that also you have to like sign a consent form, whether you can record them and all that, because it's also much it will end up in legal issues if you record and play it, upload it in somewhere. So take the consent form, take the signature from in the consent form, and then call them, create the usability testing test protocols, meaning that some kind of test cases I'll be able to show that a little bit later, and then perform it, and then record it, record audio, record video, record their observations, and then present into your product management. And then they will, if they buy that, they will apply some of them into the product. And then once it happens, then after 2 months or after the product actually went to the another beta stage, then call some 5 more people again and then perform that kind of usability testing. So this is how moderated usability testing used to happen. Okay, I already spoke of this sample size. So like you have to use 5 people in the beginning, and then after the first beta and again second beta, you use 5 more different people and then go with that. So as I said earlier, the more number of people you use, the more likely they will come up with similar kind of scenarios. So you can use the compact amount of people, and also it's the cost is involved. You cannot call people from outside and they'll spend that kind of, for example, normal usability testing time is 1 hour. Your or else they will they'll not give you good feedback, because their mental ability or the model of that will set for only 1 hour. That crisp feedback you will get for that 1 hour. So keep your usability test sessions always 1 hour. So you call them and then you have to give them some money. For example, you have to there are certain set limits are there in India, and for example US, Europe, and UK also different set limits are there. So based on that, you're supposed to pay them money, because so if you use large number of people also, so you have to pay everyone. So it cost is also involved. So that you have to take care of that. So how you will really execute this? So I've been talking about that before coming to this slide, I think. So you're supposed to create an evaluation sheet who you are supposed to call, and then you should get an approval for that. Okay, and then you have to schedule this testing, and then call them. Like for example, in the morning session call one person, and in the evening session call another person. So you will also need your time to record, and you have to put your observations, and then so it will be good if you stick with this 2 people a day. So if your time really pressurizes you, you can go up to 4 people, but that you cannot get a right number of results, because like you will also be really confused. So the participant arrives, and then you have to brief them what is this about, and you have to tell them that you are not really testing their technical abilities, and they are going to use the product, and they will be giving feedbacks. And the test moderator, the little bit experienced person, sits with the usability tester, and an observer is supposed to be present, because like the moderator, when you're doing moderation, you may not really able to observe and what are all the things they are saying. So you should keep an observer along with you, so that they take notes. And now the very important point is like think aloud. The user, you have to explain the user that they have to think aloud. So for example, now they will say, for example, if I am thinking aloud, I will say, now I am clicking this button to go to the next screen. Now I am running this slide. So now I am pressing the pause button. I wanted to. So you will ask a question to that person. So you will say, like, if it is an e-com website, you will say that search for a product. Then they will first say that now I am going to check the categories, because this is a product, like you are saying, that search for a mobile which is less than 5,000. So I go to the categories. They will speak out what they really doing. And some people, because the approach used to be different, because different people think differently, so their approach. So now you say that I supposed to press this, find out this mobile which is less than 5,000. So I think I will go to the search bar and I will type that mobile. They will say that. So you supposed to record that. Your observer will record it in a paper, and there will be a video camera will be involved if they really sign the consent form, and you can record them. That is how it goes. And then the moment they responded, like you have to find out what kind of practical problems they are facing. So so they will say, like, I am not able to search this. So you should ask, being a moderator, so you should ask what kind of problem they are facing in that particular session. Like if they have any other issues, like if they cannot see anything. So you should really you should not really tell them exactly do that. You should not say that go to search bar, go to search box and then find a mobile. You cannot say that. You should only say that search for a mobile phone. Then they are supposed to find out where is the search bar. You should not say that check that you will find the washing machine category. Then they will immediately look where is category, and then because they know what is the category, they will definitely go there. You should not really say that what they're supposed to do, but you should say the concept of it. Like so search for a washing machine which I can buy, search for a front-loading washing machine. You should supposed to say that. They will go and do that for you, and you will be able to figure out a normal user how they struggles when they really trying to find out a washing machine in that particular website. Okay. So what kind of features you should select when you have like ample amount of features in your product? So what kind of feature you supposed to select for usability testing? So you always go with the core features where the feature which is most visible to the user, a category, a search bar, a button which is press calling, or the button which is like adding a friend, for example, in Nimbus app. Go with the feature that you want the user to focus on when entering or navigating into the product. So if it is a website which displays videos that you want, and then there is a space where you display the premier videos. The moment the user enters into that website, they're supposed to find out that premier website. So they have to focus that. So for that, you supposed to frame it, and then you supposed to your design supposed to invite the user to focus on that. Like in a screen, it's a huge area. How you will really make sure that the user will really focus on the premium video section. So that kind of thing, and go with features that fetches money to the company. For example, like in Nimbus Out is one of the calling feature that we sell credits. People can make international call up to 1 paisa per second. So the moment the person goes there to the calling feature, so you can see that if you have Android or iPhone, you can see that in the top right corner you will say we say buy credit, because like we want that because this buy credit right now it with an underline. Earlier the buy credit is just a text, it never looked like a link. So we asked for a buy credit is supposed to be looks like a link, though it so because you cannot place a button there. There is a technical limitation, you cannot place a button in that place. So at least you underline the buy credit word, so that the user will see that there is something that where I can go and click. So that's how it goes. These kind of features. So and you cannot do usability testing in all the features. That is not actually usability testing. You're supposed to select a limited amount of feature. As I told you before, the usability tester cannot spend more than 1 hour. You're supposed to limit your usability testing session within an hour, because the user will lose their interest. So the moment the user lost his interest, he is most likely just skipping away, and then they will so their body language changes, and they will go easy on things, and they will just answer whatever they can, and to complete they will drive the usability testing to a completion. So for example, you are conducting usability testing, and you called your consultancy people or your HR people. You asked them to send a college student for your innovative new product, and the college students comes in, and he or she sits nearby you, and then you've been started this test session and given the prototype or a product, and then they've been doing things, and you suddenly notice that they have issues on doing things, and they have really not really thinking aloud, and they are not really interested. So you supposed to end the session and then pay them, because like they spent their time to come over, and you selected them. You supposed to call them before they come. You have to make sure that their persona is actually fitting the product. You call them, you shortlisted them, you spoke to them before in the phone, and you call them in person, and they lost interest. Somehow they are not really giving you the right feedback you want. So you can find out in 10 minutes, and then you end the session. Thank you so much. You have to they may be useful in different scenario or different products. So you have to end the session with the thank you, and then you have to still pay them. So this is how you're supposed to do when you are doing your usability testing practically. So let's see the test protocol. So this is another important thing, that you have to freeze this before your usability testing session, and you have to make sure that your functional people or your product managers review this before, and then you approve. They'll give you their approval, and then you will, because this is a thing that you will take a printout on with you, and then you will sit with the usability tester, and you will be actually, this test protocol drives the usability testing. So you will so there will be a task, and then there will be an expected reply or user action, because your designers and your product manager thinks that they will respond like this, but they will be thinking something else. That is how you will have to record. You put that in the problems and you write the comments. So the moment you downloaded Nimbus application, for example, and the user opens this application as a new user, they click on new user, and so you have to ask them. So now you have to say them create an account. Then they're supposed to click on I am a new user when you ask them to create an account. If they struggle to find out what is actually I have, because maybe then you can suggest the product management that you add a small text that below the I am a new user, say that I am a new user to create account. Like so you should use words that commonly used by people in your products, so that people will not find it very difficult to navigate through the application. Okay, and then when you create the product, when you create the account, then they have to get an SMS, and then normally people don't really wait, and they will ask you how much time I have to wait and all that. So if they didn't really and also, like when you're doing usability testing, you also need to make sure that you differentiate a functional testing defect to an usability testing defect. Like if it is the button is not clickable, that is not a problem of usability. It's a functional testing. So, for example, here allowing phone book upload is mandatory. So there in Nimbus we upload the user's phone book to our servers to match there is any other friend of this phone book, this user is already using Nimbus, so we match and we connect them automatically. So we show a pop-up that upload your phone book. So and user, for a user, the moment they say upload your phone book to the server, they will think whether my phone book is secured or not. Even now this problem is there. Like they will say no. If they say no, the feature actually is not going to work properly, because they are not going to, the new user is not really uploading their phone book. We cannot match their friends with Nimbus, so we cannot connect them automatically, and the virality feature which we designed is actually not going to work. So you should add in that pop-up box that upload your phone book securely, so that we will match your friends and you will be able to talk to them. You have to make sure that user understands what really that feature is meant for. Okay, so your test protocol is the one which records why we had developed that way and why we interact with the user from our product like this, and what problem the user really faced. That is how you should define your test protocol. There is, for example, if you're wondering that what kind of test protocol I can make and whether it's really easy or really hard, like there is some websites I can tell you, for example, usability.gov, you can go and download the sample test protocol, so that you can design similar way. Yeah. So, for example, as I told you before, in Indian context, you should pay that at least 1K for that 1 hour session, so that they'll. It's very normal that, for example, in US and Europe and UK and Australia, it is even more. So, to conduct usability testing with 5 users with only observation, you're not going to make any videos and all that, for example, that only you will spend 5K. But if you send your product for an expert review, it will really going to cost a fortune. And because if you do usability testing inside your organization, and then you created that kind of usability suggestions, and with a very minimal cost, it's really going to give you that kind of cost advantage. Like the cost advantage will also result into the product, how the product works in terms of like gives you monetary benefits for your organization. Okay, so there are certain links I had put, like More is one of the tool that usability testers use. You should take a look at the TechSmith website, and then you should download that and the demo version of it. So in the meantime, I got a question. So given a typical product, how many features do you expect to test for usability? As I said, like go for core features and go for features that gives some money to the company. Like and make sure that and then go for some features that makes the product viral, and for some maybe in a product at least 5 to 10 features will be there, that kind of core features. And also like your product managers or your management will help you identify that kind of core features. Okay, so another tool I had, like for example heat maps. You can there is a website where you can check different heat map tools. Like heat map is the one which you you can find out where your users are clicking, etc. This is screener. So basically the screener is a persona created by the usability test moderator, where what kind of users is going to test your product. Like so for example, if you're in a company that that makes chocolates, you will obviously should call students, you should call kids to taste that product. You cannot like you cannot. So if your company makes for example an e-com, if it's an e-com product, it should bring out good shoppers, housewives, and people who are in IT industry, people with iPhones, something like that. So you should create that kind of persona. To it should be reliable and realistic representation of your key audience segments for reference. This is what usability.gov says. You should really go and take a look at that kind of detailed documentation. You can call engineers, non-engineers, government employees. When it comes to government employees, when you call them, and you should not really give them money, it will end up in legal issues. So you should give them gifts instead of that, gift vouchers, or you should give some different gifts. So that you have to make sure based on the product, because like the product is being used by different people, right? So you should really not pay them money. So when it comes to government employees, it will end up in legal issues for your company. Travelers, if it is a travel website, you should really call people who travel a lot. Like you can find out that kind of users from any travel website, and then you should invite them, and also like you should call people from low, high economical backgrounds, social economical backgrounds, because for example, as I told you before, and if you're testing an ATM machine, that will be used by different people, so it has to be like that. You should take a look at this video. That so what kind of prototype, like so now it comes what kind of product you will have when it comes to usability testing. So sometimes you may have only wireframes, sometimes a little bit buggy product, sometimes a product which is already well built but there is no sales, and so that kind of product you will get. So sometimes you when you have only wireframes, or when you have only prototypes, you can create some kind of paper prototypes. I will show you that some image of that, and you should take a look at the video. Like you should exactly, if you write this example usability test with a paper prototype, you can find out this video in YouTube, and so you will also find out this usability test moderator is complimenting her with the chocolate. You can find out that. Yeah, it's very nice. And this, like for this user is testing a mobile app, and you should see that there is there is only the moderator is present. There is nobody else is taking notes, but he himself taking notes. and he's recording the video of the user's mobile phone in his Mac, and he's been asking the user to perform different operations. At this time, the moderator is not really looking at the product there. So because he already made a test protocol and he know what the user has to do, and he can very much go for the expressions, and because the usability testing, the participant has to be really comfortable and they have to take it easy, and then only the user will give you good feedback, because like if you give them an hostile environment, they are unlikely they will give you good usability suggestions. They will try to complete it sooner, faster. They'll try to push it hard, and then they will find out how to leave this room. So just make sure that you give them really a comfort zone, so that they will provide you a valid, good feedbacks. And then here you can see again another woman is testing a mobile app. This time you can see notice that there is a glass on the other side. Normally people, it's a two-way mirror, like when the scribe who are taking the notes, they can also sit the other side, so that these two women really don't get disturbed, and the moderator, the usability test doesn't know that there is somebody is watching actually from the other side. And in that case also, like you should not give them a surprise. So you should tell them that this is a two-way mirror. Other side, like in the beginning, you can say that like people may watch you, like so how you are doing and all that. So you have to, and then you should make sure that that's perfectly okay, and they are actually taking notes. You have to tell them, and also like they will on the go in another 10 like they will forget about there is a glass is present and somebody is watching, etc. because it's a two-way mirror, and they will keep focusing on what you really ask them to do. And so as I told you, that you must make sure that you are giving a comfort zone for the usability tester. So here, like probably there is a mirror. It's maybe a normal mirror, but the tester is actually doing usability testing. So here the tester is actually left alone, and because like it kind of remote testing. So like they got the things what they need to do. Probably they may be in call. The usability moderator can be in call, and they can ask them to what to do and all that, because the setup is created somewhere else. And so now website heat map. So you can using automated usability testing, you can get this heat maps. You can send this to 20 people and different elements. There are tools that will produce this kind of heat maps. You can find out where exactly this color and background and these buttons and elements, images placed in this website, where exactly people are actually clicking, where they really see. That kind of heat map has been produced, so that you can put some buttons over there. So that, like, for example, CTC, you may be aware of CTC, click-through ratio in an advertising environment here, because now you could see that in the top of the website, people actually looking at there. And the bottom left corner, nobody is taking a look at that, because there is, even though there is a red element is there, communities is in red, but even though people are not really looking at that. So there is a banner advertisement comes, it is most likely get more click-through ratio than a bottom left zone, ad zone. That is how like the people in advertising industry will distinguish things. This is a mobile heat map. Mobile heat map tool has been deployed, and it's really found where the user actually really focusing on based on their eye positions. So there is different tools are available. So certain companies are working. I have some links that will help you to understand that. So as I told you before, the time when you start the usability testing, because as I stated, Steve Cook's code, test early, test often. How early it is, like you can even test without an actual product. You can test it with only with the paper prototype. You can cut this paper, and then you can make the screens, take a look at the wireframe and draw the screens, and you can give that to the user, and you can ask them what kind of impact it's actually creating, where they will click if they see that, and what is there in that website or the app. You can find out. Okay, so they will most likely, if you do perfect user acceptance testing, usability testing, you will be able to find out. So this is actually another paper prototype of a website where there is no actual product, but you still will be able to do the usability testing with this prototype. How you will present your report when it comes to presenting into the management. And so I had recorded the audio separately, and I have the where they are actually clicking, and then I have the eye movements, where they are actually looking at when they are actually performing that test. So so their think aloud will be there with me, and their user action will be with me, and then their facial expression will be with me. So as I told you before, in the goal of usability testing is efficiency, accuracy, recall, and emotional response. So the facial expression is really an important thing when it comes to usability of a product. So this is how I put my reports if it is required to be doing usability testing. So this is how this overall execution path of your usability testing. You have initial test plan, which is the test protocol is created, and you have the screener with you, and then both of them you have to take an approval from the management who you are calling and what you are going to do, and then you will take an approval for the resources, and then if you are using any tool, Techgig tool or any A/B testing tool or an automated expert review tool like that, so you will take an approval by the tool, and then you will call your HR department or your some consultancy will hire the resources, and you can set up the lab in the meantime. What are all the things? If it is a pure mirror, if you want people to observe you during the usability test execution, you should apply this two-way mirror, or else it's not really required. One of the slides you might have seen that they've been in a conference room, and then the moderator actually is conducting the usability testing. And then you will then the tedious task, which is like putting the report and analysis, that what kind of things, what are all the things which will improve the usability of the core product, and it should be in well written, and it should be easily readable, so that the product management and the administration take a look at that, and then okay, let me try that, because there is nothing wrong than trying one of the best practice, which is usability. So you should convince the management. Okay, so now if for example you are saying that okay, give me $500 or 20,000, 25,000 rupees for this usability testing session, and if they say why are we doing this in the first place, if they say if you don't do this, nothing really going to change, but if you do this, then there is a huge chance that our product will be more usable, and it will result into sales or user experience. You can convince the management like that. Okay, so and also you should make sure that you should engage the designers and developers. Okay, for they give a product which is engaging and which is compelling and which is effective, and then you can make sure that it is efficient or accurate, or the people able to recall, and the emotional response is awesome. Okay, then you'll give the final presentation to the management leadership, and then you'll make them take their approval, because and then make sure that you will involve the CEO or CTO of the company in this, like approach them early and then tell them, so that they will support you when it comes to taking this kind of initiatives in the approvals. They'll come with you for the approvals, They will help you to make sure that the product management buys your usability suggestion ideas, because you suggest 10 different things, and in that 5 is rejected and then 5 is viable. If the CEO is present, they will be able to support you, and then they make sure that these usability related improvements are actually coming to the product in the later releases, and then so that you will see an improved user experience in the product. Okay, so I had displayed some links that I'm anyway going to upload this in SlideShare, this slide. So you people can download that from there. Okay, so certain links like so the first link is usability.gov, where you can download all sort of documentation information. There is eye tracking initiative, and then there is a smart video usability testing of a fruit, and then there is another video, 7 principles, and then this A/B testing, one of the testing methods in the 5 usability testing methods. There are the set of tools were there, and then there is an amazing presentation by Barry Briggs that is about PET, persuasion, emotion, and trust. You should really take a look, and you should make sure that your designers and developers are taking a look when designing the product. And then the god of usability is Jacob Nielsen, and so there is certain books, and there are certain documentation is available in the site. And then web usability, Don't Make Me Think, is an amazing book by Steve Crook. So you're supposed to read that by yourself, and you should make sure that your developers read that. Like I displayed an Amazon link because like it's a book that is being sold. I cannot give a PDF version of it, so a link of it. But I think you people are smart enough to search in Google about this. Yeah. So thanks for your time. Now it's like so you can connect me in my email ID, and then you can ask me some questions if you really want. And my Nimbus chat ID is Ravindran2454, and you can download Nimbus for any mobile if you are using. So now I'm open for questions. So please go ahead.
Thank you, Ravi. I have already shared a couple of questions with you. Once you are done answering them, probably I can share some more. You will find the questions in the questions window on your control panel.
Yeah, exactly. I'm seeing that. Yeah. Okay, so for hallway of testing, what kind of people should you invite participate? Techno function. So you can invite any kind of people, because like the people who are in your organization, you can. So you know that they are not usability testers. They are most of their feedbacks are actually going to be like design suggestions. You do in this way, you do this way, so that will look like that. So they will try to show you their intelligence when they are trying to, if you call them. So you should make sure that what to take from there. So you should distinguish that actually. So that is how it goes. People will be. Next question is Mahi Dev. People. So the previous question is Mahua Ghosh. Okay. Mahidev's question is this: people we call for usability testing give suggestions of functionality of our software, but other than that, like browser search functionality and related to mobile function, so that no more useful feedback. How to get best input from there? That is how you will evolve as a usability test moderator in the course of time. When to cut them down, when to make them focus is really important when you become a moderator. So they will, if they go off topic, so you can make them come back from the topic by cutting short with a very straightforward manner. So let's do this like that, and then you have to like manage this very politely and nicely, because if you try to be rude or if you try to be a little pushy, they will not really give you good feedbacks to you at all. So you have to be really inviting, you have to be really friendly with them, so that they will give you good suggestions. and then they will try to act smart. That is what you have to make sure that you don't really invite people who really act smart, because you call the people who are actually, so that is how the screener works. So 5-6 people, the consultancy people suggested, you call them once and then try to make sure that they are actually open and they're so they will be you have to, you should assess that, okay? So and then they will be, you will be able to do that, okay? What is the difference between hallway and moderated usability? Hallway testing is happening within your organization. You don't really pay them, but moderated usability testing, you invite people from outside. You create, that is proper usability testing. That is from Yogesh. And then another question: who is the best person to test the usability testing? Domain expert or test moderator? Of course, it is test moderator. A domain expert can also learn usability testing and then do the usability testing. But I suggest that people who really having an objective, this question asked by Ajay, so the people who is having an objective, they have to do this. A test moderator have more objective than anybody else. Domain expert is always try to show his abilities or her abilities to the usability tester, ask them to, they cannot give you that kind of exact feedback on a product. Okay, so that is such a say. Regan Kotari, can you please explain once again what is just think aloud means? It's a very good question, Regan. The point is, think aloud is that is the core of this whole thing. The user has to think aloud in their mind. If they think about something and if they don't tell you, then the whole thing is going to be a mess. When they are very comfortable and they in the usability testing room, they will. You should ask them, now you are going to think aloud. Think aloud means you are going to say whatever you feel. So now if you give a product, they will talk like this. Okay, now I am going to press this button. Now this looks like not a button. This looks like a link. Can I press that? Is something going to happen? All those things, they have to come up and they have to open up their mind to you, so that you will be able to extract good feedback from them. What is difference between usability testing for desktop web applications versus mobile application? It's user usability testing. Sandeep, this is actually both same. So only the product differs. So usability testing in any product. It can be an airline system. It can be an ATM machine. It can be like so. In the history of usability testing, Henry in late 1940, Henry he was building a cruise ship actually called Independence. You can take a look at that in Wikipedia. He made small rooms for people to stay, and he invited travelers who are actually going to travel in those ships and asked them to stay in there. And then they've been trying to give suggestions. This light should not be here. This is actually, door is really hurting me, like that. Those kind of suggestions he took, and then he built the ship. Henry's Independence. If you search in Google, it will be cruise Independence. You can find out. Okay, so that is how it is. The product, any product can be usability tested. Sandeep. So Nilesh. So given a typical product, how many features do you expect? Okay, that I already answered. The core features you're supposed to test. When should we start the usability testing? As that is Samrat Datta. Steve Crook said, one of the great personalities in usability testing industry, test early, test often, meaning that you should test as soon as possible. You should start, you should create paper prototypes, you should create some screens, if it is not a web page, but it's actually a very small basic HTML5 elements. Like same Instagram made in HTML5 before and then shown to the investors and then they approved and then it's been $1 billion company now. Correct? So that is how it goes. So next question is Anurag. If the project is very large and budget is limited, then how can we perform usability testing? As I told you, Anurag, my dear friend, so this budget limitation that it's all about like involving your hippos. That and hippo means a CEO of the company. If you're CEO of the company, if you involve them see the usability testing is one of the best thing you should do, because our product is not usable and people are complaining about that in Google Play or in iTunes and everywhere. So you should do some usability testing. So they will the moment they take serious about the usability testing, they will be able to approve the budget, but it's not very big because like if you outsource your usability testing project, the numbers are as big as 15 lakhs to 20 lakhs for any small product, but you can do that below 20k, 30k in a small company. So it's not very big if you do that by yourself. But the point is like we have to be functionally stable before really that message is only for Anurag. Before we really goes to any usability testing, Anurag, because we work in the same company. So next one. So Satish, for hallway instead of all participants on the meeting room, can someone join the audio for hallway? Yes, it is possible. It's actually then it's not hallway testing. It's actually remote usability testing, Satish. You should so you'll be able to differentiate that. So now. Newton Info Solutions. During execution phase, in what way the moderator role differs to the observer? Observer just sits and take notes because in execution, moderator observes the user, observes the product he is actually giving, and then he's also handling the test protocol. So he has to ask different questions to the usability tester. So an observer will give a great amount of help in terms of observing what is actually going on. So moderator cannot take notes, but so observer will give you the set of points. Then you will be able to consolidate them after that. So that is how it goes in Newton Info Solutions. So I think there is no more questions.
There are actually, Ravi, but since we are running out of time, probably we can share the questions with you offline. We have.
So maybe like one or two you should share. Maybe 5 minutes we can push it.
It's already 4:07. So okay. I'll give you two more questions.
Okay.
And the rest you can take them offline.
Okay, thank you so much. Faraz Afshan, is usability testing similar to exploratory testing or ad hoc testing? No. Exploratory testing, you will test it in a certain function in an exploratory way within a product. Actually, it's done by testers or domain experts inside the testing team, not the usability test moderator for us. So next question is Gaurav Lakhani. What is the role and contribution of product manager in this process? Okay, the product manager or the mini CEO of the company who really takes things forward because like you are actually a usability test moderator. This is a very good question indeed. The usability test moderator actually pushing this information to the product manager. Product managers are the ones who drives the product. They don't have any authority, by the way, because developers are not really reporting to product managers. But still, they are the ones who knows the market, what the market needs. They are actually giving the product to the users. So they buy your usability suggestions. That is the primary goal of a whole usability testing. This whole thing goes to the product manager. End of the day, he decides. He feels the same way, because product manager always try to feel the same way as the user. So he gives the product. he deals with the product. He's supposed to deliver the product, and he has to understand and identify the market he is going. So product manager buys it, and then he asks the developers to implement it. He sets the priority for that particular issues you create. So that is how the whole thing works. The usability test moderator gives them to the product manager, and with adequate inputs, all those inputs, this video, take a look at this video. The user is not able to press this button because of the button is really small. If the user is really having a fat finger and he's not able to really press this button, and then the moment they buy it, then it is going to be in the product. That's how it goes. So so that is the final question I took. So if you can send those questions offline, and I'll be able to respond in the comment section of the Techgig site. You should just paste that. If your question is not really answered, paste that into the comment section so that I'll keep writing there. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming to this presentation, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you so much once again, Ravi, for the presentation and taking up the questions. I know we ran out of time, and I wish you could take up more questions, but not to worry. Attendees can always come on techgig.com and post their questions in the discussion forum, as you just mentioned, or they can pass on the questions directly to you, since you have already shared your email ID. So with that note, we come to the end of our session. The recording of today's session will be available on techgig.com by tomorrow morning. So those of you who were late in terms of logging on to the session today, they can always come back on techgig.com and watch the entire recording tomorrow morning. Thank you once again for your fair support and participation. Thank you so much, Ravindran, for your presentation today.
Thank you.